Çok değerli katılımcı.
Distinguished participants, welcome to the presentation of the Egypt in our forum. Distinguished guests, Mustafa Denizer, please welcome to the floor.
Ministry of Trade and Investment, Head of Egyptian Commercial Services, Dr. Abdulaziz El Sherif, our commercial attaches, Mr. Ali Basha, and from our Egyptian side, all our attaches are here, 3 of them. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to welcome you all here today. We are gathered not only to speak about the economic relations between our two countries, but also to celebrate the deep friendship and shared vision that unite Turkey and Egypt. As the chairperson, Turkish-Egypt Business Council under DEİK, I stand before you both in an official capacity and as someone who has personally witnessed the growth of this partnership. As you know, Turkish industrial investment in Egypt accelerated after signing the FTA in 2007. For nearly 20 years, I've been an investor myself in Egypt, closely observing the remarkable journey over the past decade, first as a vice chair, then as a chairman of the council. I have also had the privilege of following every step of our investors, their appetite for Egypt, and the success stories that have emerged from these investments. Today, Turkish investment in Egypt are no longer limited to textile and garments. They have expanded into glass, energy, tourism, retail, food, agriculture, and many other different fields. Despite the challenges, our investors have continued to contribute to the Egyptian economy and at the same time to strengthen the foundation of Turkish-Egyptian relations. As of today, our investment has exceeded $3.5 billion, and every year it seems there's another new $500 million investment coming from our side, and our overall labor force has exceeded 100,000 people. The growing interest in Egypt in recent years, in fact, the clearest evidence of the success of the earlier investments. Turkish investors do not see Egypt only as a production hub, but also as a second home. As we say in Turkey, one's birthplace is one's homeland, but the place where you work, contribute, earn your livelihood becomes your second home. And I proudly say myself after 20 years that I am half Egyptian, half Turkish, and I am also from Monofeya, as proudly saying. And even the second generation in Egypt has started the family businesses, so this is also something remarkable. Looking ahead, we are determined to further strengthen our investment, expand into new sectors, and replicate the same success we achieved in textile and garments across the other fields. Our goal is not only to increase the trade volumes, but also to deepen the mutual trust, friendship, and cooperation between our people. Distinguished guests, just as it has in the past, the relationship between Turkey and Egypt will continue to grow stronger, and in the years ahead, our shared history and joint achievements serves a guiding light for the brighter future together. Thank you for your participation. And now I want to give the floor to Dr. Abdulaziz El Sherif for his speech. The floor is yours.
Yes, değerli konuklar sunumlarını gerçek.
Esteemed participants, I would now like to call Mısır Republic the Trade Service Chair, Mr. Abdulaziz. I would like to call him on to the stage. Çok teşekkür
So Mustafa, thank you very much, Mustafa Bey. You're really a very good advocate for Egypt, and we really thank you on behalf of at least the Egyptian commercial service that I'm representing. I'd like to thank you for your efforts, and we are looking forward for more. You mentioned that the Turkish investments in Egypt are about $3 billion total. This is very low. And my colleagues, they know that I always triple the numbers. This is a target I put. It's not necessary that we succeed, but this is always our target, and we would like to really triple the volume of trade and the volume of investment. Volume of trade between Turkey and Egypt is around $8 billion, I think, 8 plus. So we need to reach 30 billion by 2030. This is very ambitious, I know. Investment, we need to reach at least $15 billion. And I think with this kind of immigration you mentioned, and some other Turkish colleagues mentioned about the immigration of Turkish companies to Egypt, I think we can reach this. With some kind of discipline, as you just mentioned earlier today, we can reach this really. And luckily we have our partners in Egypt from the commercial offices in Cairo and Alexandria. I also would like to welcome them here in Istanbul, as they welcome me in Cairo, and looking forward to work together closely. Thank you, thank you. I also would like to, I see lots of familiar faces here, and I'm very happy and delighted to see lots of familiar people that we know from Egypt. Mr. Mustafa Muharram, Your Excellencies ambassadors, it's really a great pleasure to see you here, and looking forward to see you more, inshallah, in Egypt and abroad as well. Okay, so allow me to first also thank the Ministry of Trade of Turkey and DEİK for bringing us together to discuss how we can strengthen Egyptian-Turkish relations for mutual economic gains. I have to repeat what I mentioned during the ministerial gathering, because it's really important to mention this and to stress on this fact. This year's theme of this gathering, leveraging Turkey-Africa relations for mutual gains, couldn't be more timely. The world economy today is being reshaped by new trade patterns, supply chain disruptions, and an urgent global call for sustainability. This pushes us more to cooperate and to work closely. And allow me, I don't want to take a lot more of your precious time, so I'd like to jump immediately to the presentation that I'd like to present to you today. And I really don't know how this works. So, should I push the button? Good.
Offers unparalleled access to key markets. With its abundant young and skilled work and dynamic population, Egypt is the hub for manufacturing, transport and logistics, green hydrogen, oil and gas, and internet. Modern ports, superhighways, and a robust rail network solidify Egypt's global trade hub. Projects like the Suez Canal Economic Zone and the development of the New Alamein. The digital economy is expanding with sectors such as fintech, health tech, entrepreneurship, and data centers experiencing rapid growth. Raised 217 million in 2022, an 18% increase from 2021. With TIBA-1, Egypt's first communication satellite, the nation's digital connectivity supports sectors like education, health, and agriculture, enhancing overall efficiency. Egypt's impressive connectivity infrastructure is highlighted by the extensive telecom digital cables network. This infrastructure enhances digital connectivity, linking Egypt with Europe and beyond. Addressing urbanization challenges, Egypt is developing projects like the Cairo Metro expansion and the development of 22 new smart cities. Enhanced connectivity and sustainability is key to Egypt's future. Water scarcity is tackled through advanced water management systems. The Al Mahsama water reclamation plant, for instance, treats and reuses agricultural drainage water. and supporting sustainable agriculture in addition to food production that advances with new agro-industrial zones. In response to global environmental challenges, the country is committed to building a sustainable and resilient green economy. Renewable energy projects like the 1.8 gigawatt Bimben solar park and the 580 megawatt Gebel Zayt wind farm reduce reliance on fossil fuels and attract foreign investments through PPPs. Renewable energy has been a major focus for foreign investment, with total investments exceeding 40 billion euros. This ecosystem for investment is expected to grow even further in the coming years. The Egyptian state continues to make significant progress in areas of investment in 9 public free zones and 210 private free zones in several governorates. Egypt is unparalleled for hosting investment zones covering a multitude of industrial, commercial, service and logistics activities, which fulfill the requirements of 207 projects in spinning and textiles, garments and furniture, an integrated complex for the assembly of food and agriculture activities, automotive feeding industries, printing and publishing, pharmaceuticals, in the field of metallurgical and engineering industries, and many services and logistics activity. Strategic initiatives to foster a business-friendly environment have transformed the government's role from being an operator to a highly needed regulator, according to the new state vision, encouraging public-private partnerships. Education is a cornerstone of Egypt's growth strategy. Modern educational facilities and digital classrooms are preparing a new generation of skilled professionals ready to contribute with the global economy. Join us in shaping a prosperous tomorrow. Invest in Egypt, the land of business opportunities.
We have to thank our friends in General Authority for Foreign Investment for producing this short movie. It's very short, concise, but I think it's comprehensive. There are all the points that we would like to cover if we would like to promote Egypt. In ACS we had another one, but it's around 30 minutes. So I don't think this can be very suitable for such event. But since it's short but comprehensive, it helps me to shorten the presentation, not to go through all the points. And please, if anybody has any question, feel free to interrupt me. If any clarification is needed, please, I will be more than happy to answer, with the help, of course, of my colleagues here and Mrs. Iman from Gafi as well. They will be ready to help me. Okay, so going through the presentation. Okay, here is general outlook of the FDI outlook in Egypt. Egypt achieved the highest rate of FDI growth over the last 10 years. The number one largest recipient of FDI in Africa through 3 consecutive years, 2022, 2023, 2024, and I'm anticipating to tell you it's going to be also in 2025. Egypt is going to be number one recipient for foreign direct investment in Africa. There are, of course, reasons for this. The large inflows in net FDI in the non-oil sectors. Some statistics. Thank you. Thank you very much. The GDP growth rate is 4.77%. This is the quarter 3, the third quarter in 2024-2025. 337.3% growth rate of net FDI in the non-oil sectors. This growth was driven by investments in construction, And of course, thanks to the mega project in Ras Al Hakma, we have this kind of very high percentage. The total FDIs in Egypt for last financial year is 46.5 billion US dollars. And of course, here is the allocation of the contribution of different sectors in Egypt by percentage, contributing to the GDP. Services represent 56%, industry 14.5%, agriculture 11.73%, and of course, the more percentage services contributes, the more added value the country achieve. I have here to quote a very important quotation from UNCTAD. Egypt has secured the 9th spot globally among the most attractive destinations for foreign direct investments in 2024. The first largest recipient of FDI in Africa, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And this is very important testimonial from UNCTAD. What are the Egypt's competitiveness? Of course, most of you know, and for those who do not know, we have the developed infrastructure, and we are going to mention some developments later in this presentation. A strategic location, everybody knows where Egypt is. Doing business, being tourist, whatever, you know where Egypt is. Cost-efficient labor force is one of the most important factors why many companies go to Egypt. Low production cost as well. Free access to global market, a gateway to Africa, a global hub for logistics and services, entrepreneurial momentum. Infrastructure is very important. You cannot do anything in developing trade, attracting investors, whatever, without developing the infrastructure. So it's going to be #1 step. And here we have very important and modernized commercial ports to increase the volume of trade between Egypt and the world, 27 international and domestic airports, and of course, last year, we launched the first Ro-Ro shipping line, commenced last year, offering a direct weekly service between Damietta in Egypt and Trieste in Italy. It's like a high-speed boat. Now they are specialized in transporting fresh products, but we are going to increase this kind of initiatives to transport other products, linking quickly Africa to Europe. It's not just Damietta to Trieste or Egypt to Italy or Egypt to Europe, but Africa to Europe. This is the main goal. Also, the ICT is very important as well as a sector, sophisticated one. According to the statistics by the Ministry of Communication in Egypt, 96.9% cell phone penetration with over 73 million mobile internet subscriptions. I think the real number is much more than this. I'm quite sure. Okay, the Egyptian government have spent over $2 billion in internet infrastructure upgrades, raising the medium fixed broadband speed to 46 megabytes. This is megabytes, yes? Okay. And this is a first step. There's going to be other steps to follow. Cost-efficient labor force. Egypt is a youthful nation with over 60% of its population under 30. It's a young country, very old country in history. People think that it's a country of 7,000 years history. It's even more than this. Beyond the age of dynasties, there are other 39,000 years nobody speak about, but let's talk about the 7,000 years. But apart from this, the country is very young because the population is young. 60% is under 30. Of course, big population, 120 million, ranks 14th population, including 13 million of foreign residents. This is in 2022. I guess now the number is around 130 million.
That makes Egypt a very big market, of course. And here is the location, almost a centric location, connecting each spot in the globe to other spots. Okay. And Egypt, of course, through the Suez Canal and its location, controls 12% of international trade, 10% seaborne trade, and 26,000 ships per year. The low production cost. Here are the prices, average prices of all the total production costs for all the factors: electricity, water, sewage, natural gas. Okay. Average employees' monthly figures. This is, of course, average for starting from the minimum wage, blue collar, technician, supervisor, engineers, section ahead. If we go to the highest one in average, we are talking about approximately 694 to 980 US dollar. The minimum is almost 122 US dollars per month. And you can compare all these costs to all of our friendly competitors in the region. You can see the difference, the big difference between Egypt and other countries. And of course, this is a chart explaining what we just mentioned: Egypt, Morocco, Turkey, and here are also a comparison in the average monthly wage in US dollar, of course. You can tell me if you are okay with this. Is it okay? Okay. No. Sorry. Okay. Okay. You're the reason now one of my colleagues will be fired. So we'll correct this. Not you. Okay. I mentioned earlier that the Egyptian market is 120 million, the population, but in trade, it's much bigger than this, okay? If we add all the preferential agreements that Egypt signed that offers any company that is located in Egypt a free access to other markets, so we can reach almost 60 or 70 plus countries. That makes enlarge the Egyptian market from 120 million to 1.2 billion inhabitants. If we add the GAFTA, the Greater Arab Free Trade Area, the COMESA, the Egypt Free Trade Agreement with EFTA, European Free Trade Association, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Egypt-EU Partnership Agreement, UK-Egypt Association Agreement, Agadir Free Trade Agreement, Turkey-Egypt Free Trade Agreement, Egypt-Mercosur Free Trade Agreement, and recently, African Continental Free Trade Agreement, AFCFTA, which is in process right now with 54 countries. And at the beginning, there is the qualified industrial zones that allows Egyptian products to have free access with 10% recently to the US market. So adding the recent developments and the new countries joining some agreements here, like EU, for example. So the real volume or the real size of the Egyptian market is not 120 million, it's almost 2 billion consumers. And that explains why lots of companies that they do have difficulties to penetrate other markets, they are fighting to come to Egypt. Of course, we are the real gate of Africa. With all due respect to everybody else, Egypt is the real gate to Africa. By location, by connection, by agreements, by logistical connections also. So Egypt is a real gateway. We have 7 out of 18 countries in Africa in GAFTA that Egypt is part of. Agadir, 3 out of 4 countries in Africa, Egypt is part of. COMESA, 2 21st countries plus Egypt, so 22 in total, is all in Africa, East and South. AFCFTA, African Continental Free Trade Agreement, 54 countries except Eritrea. Egypt is one of the pioneer countries that has launched this and supporting the implementation of this very important free trade agreement that will be the biggest free trade agreement worldwide. Of course, everybody knows about the Suez Canal, the contribution of the Suez Canal in the international trade, the effect of the Suez Canal to the international welfare, impact on inflation as well. Everybody remembers when one ship has been blocked in the Suez Canal for a few days, what happened to the inflation in some countries, the prices, and everybody was suffering. Of course, the Suez Canal Economic Zone is a very important area where also many Turkish companies are located and many others also, they would like to be located there, and they are in negotiations with the authority of the Suez Canal Economic Zone. And I guess our commercial office here has organized a very fruitful and successful visit for the chairman of the Suez Canal Economic Zone some weeks ago, I don't know, and it was very successful, attracting more Turkish companies to go and to relocate their projects and business in the Suez Canal area. What are the investors' guarantees? And thanks to the contribution from our friends and colleagues in GAFI, General Authority for Foreign Investment, there are lots of guarantees for the foreign investors, and these investors are being renewed from time to time. First one, exemption from the registration in the importers registrar for the importation of equipment, raw materials, and machinery required for establishing, expanding, or operating in the project. This is first one. Second one, free pricing of the products. The right to transfer the profit, dividends, and liquidation output. Equal treatment of foreign and local investors. Protecting the project from nationalization, guardianship, and seizure. Here are some examples of the investors' tax incentives from taxation point of view, custom incentives, exemptions for incorporation contracts, credit facilities, and mortgage contracts related to corporate business from the stamp tax and documentation fees since the date of registration and the commercial registration. And here, the country has been divided into, I don't know, it's segment or regions, zones. It's zones or area. Okay, several areas. Urban governorates, lower Egypt, upper Egypt, frontier governorates, and each area has specific incentives to be offered to the investors according to the plan of the government to develop certain areas and to attract more investment to. The golden license, it's a rapid mechanism to accelerate the business procedures, the investment procedures in Egypt. The government has the right to offer this golden license to certain investment projects according to the size of the project, the field of the project, whether it's strategic, important to the country. And now the government, I guess, since we started this presentation, was 46 golden licenses. I don't know how much now, but I think we are offering only one Turkish company's golden license. You all. Okay. Okay. But it proves that it's very efficient mechanism, actually. Many countries and companies now, they heard about it and they ask about it, and some big names, they benefited from this system. and I think the government will expand granting this golden license to many other companies. Okay. Global recognition. I think now the Egyptian economy have passed critical time over the past few years, going from one issue to another, starting from the COVID-19, going through the Ukrainian-Russian war, and recently the Gaza war. But because the economy is resilient and the government has managed to start economic reforms in monetary, in fiscal, and trade policy, okay? So now we are starting to receive lots of global recognition from different names. And these are some investors' testimonials. I won't even bother you reading all of them, but we're gonna distribute and share this presentation with all of you so you can read all the details. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask Mr. Ali, because he's located here. Okay. Thank you very much.
Sharif, for the fascinating and fruitful presentation. I hope you are ready also to take some questions. If there's any question, please. So we still have time. Sometimes if you like to ask any question to Mr. Al-Sharif, please, you can ask question. No question?
Everything was clear and
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Peki değerli katılımcılar, şimdi Mısır ülke
distinguished guests, thank you very much. At 16:45 in the Seoul, we will have Mozambique's presentation. Yeah, we can take a family picture if you wish.